We get a VXX from 2004. Unit has like it's on a time machine, but it's like a room that has like
it's called a time window, so they can see into the past in like a 3D image.
Yeah,
they can't move while they're in it because then it would actually interfere with the past. But it's kind of weird because they're like, okay, it's not actually the past, but if we're in it and we move and we interact with things, it could fuck up the past. So what is it? Is it the past or not the past?
Yeah, didn't really go into detail.
It's also Doctor Who. It's Doctor Who.
Yeah, I kind of like their unit team.
Yes.
I don't know if I watch a show about it. I wouldn't talk about it on our podcast, but I would watch a show.
Oh, I'd talk about it on the podcast.
Okay, if you got,
if there was a show,
there's probably gonna be a show.
I want it to be. I want the 13-year-old kid who's a super genius.
Yeah,
that's the best character in the whole fucking show.
Yeah, he's so fun. And also, I like
95%.
Yeah,
trap. And I'm like, yeah, speak your truth, King.
Yeah, no, I loved him. I also liked Mel. As Mel was like, I think the doctor wore like colorful clothing. That was her doctor. And she's a redhead. And she's a redhead.
But then
she's fun.
And then the final episode, she goes a little wacko crazy.
Yeah. The final episode, basically, we find out there's a giant. I can't say the word because it's so.
They find, so essentially, the whole premise is that in like 1960s, like the OG series, right? The OG Doctor Who series. The first Doctor, the second Doctor, one of those two.
No, it's the one with the scarf. Eighth? No, big scarf guy.
No, it's not eighth. It's not eighth. The first one of the first three had the scarf. I know that.
Doctor with the scarf. Oh fuck! I don't know which one it is. Fourth? Perfect. Okay, there you go.
He kills. This is where they're throwing around like the original ideas of the toy maker, the trickster, Mara, all these gods that aren't really gods. They're very confusing and they're never good people, right?
Yeah.
The whole point is that they're not good people. And then there was like Satan in that one episode in the 10th season.
Episode.
That was a great episode.
I loved it.
Didn't bring him back up in this one.
No. Yeah.
Even though he's technically like
a part of it, right?
Literally Satan.
Yeah.
I mean, if they're gods, you'd probably mention the devil, right?
Yeah.
But whatever.
Yeah.
So in the fourth season, so like that's like the 70s. With the fourth Doctor, he murders someone called Sutekh. Sutekh is the god of death and decay. So in the like 70s, 80s, you can imagine how cheesy this would look and sound.
Yeah. It's pretty fun, guys. I saw a TikTok clip.
Yeah. And now he comes back because, in true Doctor Who fashion, he's been there the whole time.
It's so funny.
He's just living in the fucking TARDIS.
Yeah.
So every time the Doctor travels to a planet, he kills it.
Yeah.
Because the Sutekh, like at the moment he gets there, Sutek's like, "Oh, I'll let you have your fun," but the moment they leave, he's like, "Death."
Yeah.
And Sutekh comes in and he's like, "Yo, I'm the god of death, decay, ash, and decay and death and ash." I don't know if I got that through your head.
I mean, like, no,
it was. It's not when you have the enemy. See, to me, death should never be. Oh, I find death more compelling, less as a villain, and more as like a calming natural force, like in like Sandman. Death is like the lady who's very nice and kind and warm, and like because death accepts everyone. Like that's the whole point of it.
Yeah,
everything dies.
Yep.
And
because it doesn't.
I'm not a big fan of like the all-consuming darkness, because it's like, well, like, yeah, that's easy to conceptualize, you know, like something that it's basically, if everything is, this is isn't, right? This is the not to our is. But it, I don't know. It feels a bit hollow.
No,
like,
it makes sense.
Like there's an obvious enemy there.
Yeah, because the idea, again, I also kind of like how like death doesn't need to be like, why is death a bad thing? Like,
exactly.
Everything dies, and that's okay. And like I feel like, especially like showing this to like a kid's show, like they might be scared of dying. You know, like death is okay. And it happens.
They've been through that. And I think that is like a key theme throughout pretty much all of Doctor Who.
Like in this, guys, in this series,
you can die. Not only in this series, but I remember 1 in 10th Doctor where he's like, death is what makes life worth living.
Yeah.
Because like, if we couldn't die, everything we do had no meaning. And then in 11, there's the Van Gogh episode, which makes me cry.
Oh my gosh, stop. Oh, yeah.
But that's the whole thing, is like, even though you're dead, your legacy stands.
Yeah.
Like, you live on through your art, like through your thing.
Guys.
I'm not going to save you, because like, he knows like this guy's going to die. Van Gogh killed himself, didn't he?
Yep.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Okay. Yeah. He knows Van Gogh's going to kill himself.
Yeah.
Like, he knows it's going to happen, but he's like, I can't interrupt this. Yeah. Like, you will live on.
Yeah.
And so it's like a big theme throughout this thing. So it did feel a bit weird for death, the thing that he's been kind of a supporter of.
Yeah.
You know, like, things come to an end. Although I love life, things come to an end. And then I do get that he's just kind of like wanton destruction of like, I just want to kill everything because everything sucks.
But like, he is the god of death. Like, they clarified that pretty clear.
But like, and I guess if all the gods are like twisted versions of what you think they are, I guess the god of death would be the god of, I want everything dead. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah. Again, if they could, maybe they could have done something interesting. It's like, I don't know. They could do something. It's like, the Sandman. I think just like a story about. It could have been something. I don't know. They could have done something better. You know, it would have been really cool. Well, not really cool, but this is literally just me spitballing. Yep. If they made it like the god of life, but the only reason, but he has to kill a bunch of people because it's a natural part of life. Yeah. You know what I mean? So like, that's the paradigm he's going in with. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, this god is like kind of Thanos-esque. Yeah. Where like, he has to kill these people so that new life can come in. But like, the Doctor's like, well, they'll die eventually. Yeah, but they could have done something. They could have done something a little bit more, or like nuanced, like a bit more playing, especially for the finale. Like, I'm okay with you not doing anything special for the middle episodes. Yeah. This is any show. The last 2 episodes of a show should be very important, and the very first one. That's about it. And especially, it's just like, I don't know, you could have done something different. Like, I don't know, death and life, I feel like they shouldn't have things, not that they shouldn't have things that represent them, but like, those things should just be morally like not coded as good or bad. I think I know what you mean. Like they're life, just facts. Yeah, like, it's just like, life happens, death happens. And exactly. You can make they are facts. You can't. Yeah. They're not some weird cosmic entity. They are facts, just how it is. Yeah. About reality. If they could have done something, it's just like, this being, instead of being the god of death, it could be the god of, I don't know, like, disasters or something. And it like wants tyranny, the ultimate disease, or just like plain just evil or something. It's just like, death is just such a high. I think like, no, sorry, continue. Death is such a high. It's just as a high concept. It's like, you shouldn't have someone who has an enjoyment or a dislike of killing things. You know, so it should just be like,
I just have to. I'm just the being that does
Yeah,
this.
especially when they're the big bad, because
Yeah.
it's like,
They could be
how
like,
do you do
yeah.
anything at all ever if your whole shtick is just murdering things?
Yeah. Yeah. Like
you
I
have
don't
to have a
know.
little bit more
Because like
than
again, you're
just
just making
I am death.
Yeah, you're just making Death the bad guy. It's like, okay, great, but like that's it? Like you could make I don't know, they could have done something. I guess speaking of doing something, we find out that Ruby is mom. Oh, also they go into like a memory TARDIS, which I thought was kind of cool. And I like this TARDIS more.
That was kind of cool, but it was also like, what the fuck?
It's very cluttered, like
that was
and
cool,
not as big. Not as
it
big.
was like it was almost like the viewer's perception of the TARDIS.
Yeah. Yeah. Like I feel like
if that makes sense.
Yeah, no. I feel like this
like it's
TARDIS,
all these things from all these different doctors.
Yeah. This TARDIS is you walk in, it's bigger on the inside, but not like as big.
The very Okay, get your thought out quick.
This episode's called The Empire of Death. Last episode of the series. They go into memory TARDIS. The Dr. Mel and Ruby escape.
Yeah.
They travel around.
Sutekh turns people into these like weird mummy things.
Yeah, just dust.
He turns them into dust, but they also turn them into like those weird mummy people. Remember, like Mel turns into one.
Yeah.
Susan turns into one.
Yeah.
I think someone, the Harbinger turns into one.
We forgot to mention this about Susan. Basically, Susan as a person is just everywhere, similar to the God of Death. Everywhere that the Doctor, like starting at a certain point, I don't know. Everywhere the Doctor goes, there's just a copy of her.
Yeah, I don't know what that is about. I think they explained it in the episode, but
really confusing. I don't know.
It also just doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not even joking about you.
Yeah.
To you guys, straight up does not matter. This person that they have teased the whole fucking time has one cool line, and then literally no matter. Does not matter.
Yeah. And then, no, similar to, same thing about Ruby. It's like she finds her mom, and it's just a lady. I saw a TikTok saying, it's a white woman, and I laughed. Because it's literally like, it's just irritating. But the Doctor's like, he has power.
She's also like the center of the universe.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
No, and the Doctor's like, the reason this is because we don't know, we gave her power. I'm like, no, that doesn't make sense. Like,
it makes literally no sense.
Like,
things matter because if that was happening, I'd brainwash every single fucking person and turn myself, get rid of the Doctor from their minds.
Yeah.
Like, I never existed.
Yeah. No, like, literally, like, I don't know who you are, but I have a memory of you, and because of that, you're a powerful person. Every time I think of you, there's like a smell that shows up. You know?
Literally,
like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Like,
and it was so dumb. It was really dumb.
Yeah.
And why the fuck? Also, when you know how they're going through the old like time window and shit.
Yeah.
And she turns around and points, and she has the whole cloak on.
Yeah.
Why the fuck would a 15-year-old go out with a cloak on?
Yeah.
Like a full-on medieval cloak. Then turn around to no one, right? Literally no one's in the courtyard. I don't understand what the fuck they were talking about. Like, oh, that's how she named you. She pointed at the road sign. There was no one else there. Who the fuck would have seen that?
Yeah. No one.
And so, like, exactly. So then I'm like, oh my god, her mother has to be some like extra dimensional being or something like dope, like a Star-Lord situation where she's like, maybe she can like do some cool things or something. Another,
no,
white woman.
Yeah, white woman, like
35 white woman, kind of just
basic,
normal.
Yeah, and
that's kind of the whole shtick.
Yeah, and I see what he was like. I see what Russell was doing. They literally say it. It's like you give power to people. And it's like, but like,
and not only that, but they also go like, oh, it also how wonderful that the center of the universe was something so mundane and ordinary. I'm like,
oh my gosh.
Okay.
Like, I would use Donna Noble as an example. Like, the reason Donna Noble is so, Donna was able to become a powerful person because she travels with the Doctor. This person is a nurse in middle of nowhere, UK. Like, how does she have any power? Like, there's nothing. The only power that she has is that the Doctor and Ruby does not know who she is. Like, that doesn't give. Again, I don't know. I know who. I remember Mitch when I was younger, but then I stopped remembering him. And whenever I think of Mitch, I don't know. It smells of. I don't know, something. It smells of weed. I just get the good smell of weed. It's like, Mitch?
Yeah.
Like, that's so dumb. I'm sorry, but it's not good. It's upsetting. It's like actually upsetting. Like, I rewatched all the episodes except for the last one because I'm like, I don't want to go through that again. Because, But yeah, no, literally just, they kind of figure it out. They get a spoon and they make a big deal about a spoon or something. It's just kind of dumb. It's kind of dumb ending, which is really upsetting because I was really enjoying it up to this point. Like,
that was my I did like the monologue where he's like, "If you're death, Sutek, I am life."
Yeah.
And I was like, that's very Time Lord Victorious of him. Very, very cool.
Uh-oh.
Love that shit.
Yeah.
What?
No, but Time Lord Victorious kind of like, but he kind of. Would you be interested in him doing like a whole power trip? I would.
I mean, it's kind of like standard characterization for the Doctor by this point, you know? Like, to have him have some certain moments where like the old, like traumatized soldier comes out versus the normal, like inquisitive, loving Doctor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I mean, like, gosh, I don't know, man. It kind of ends. It just kind of ends. Like, Ruby meets her mom. It was very sweet. But again, I'm just upset about, like, there's nothing. I don't know.
Yeah, it wasn't.
I don't know. It's just like, again, like, you can, if this is the case, you can have an episode of Doctor Who where I don't remember Mitch at all. I get a memory of him, or something triggers that memory of, like, Mitch, and then it smells of weed. And it's like, or it starts snowing. It's like, oh my gosh. And that's just going to happen now because, like, this person has a special meaning to me. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it felt pretty hollow is probably a good word. It was like, we're suddenly supposed to care about this is kind of what it was.
Yeah.